Welcome to Gaming Instincts. Today I will be reviewing High on Life 2 for the PC developed by Sqanch Games. Fun fact, the studio was originally founded by Justin Roiland back on August 25th in 2016. Yes, that Justin Roiland who was responsible for Rick and Morty, who ended up being terminated due to sexual allegations, harassment and discrimination. He sued them. The studio denied the claims, but then later settled, and Justin Roiland resigned his position. This is the same studio that brought the highly successful Trover Saves the Universe back in 2019. High on Life 2 is the next entry in a brand new wacky FPS franchise that originally launched on December 13th, 2022. For those who never played the original, here's what you need to know. High on Life takes place in a sci-fi universe filled with talking foul-mouthed guns and outrageous comedy. As the player, you use these alien weapons to eliminate other aliens, solve traversal puzzles, and most importantly, laugh non-stop. The game is packed with crude sexual humor that you simply do not see very often anymore, and honestly, it feels refreshing. It pulls inspiration from platformers and Metroidvanians, but we will get into mechanics a little bit later. Fast forward to now, and we have High on Life 2. If you enjoyed the original and want more of that same chaotic humor and absurd energy, this sequel absolutely delivers. It is not perfect and it does have performance issues, but it is loaded with funny, memorable, and genuinely entertaining moments backed by a fantastic cast of characters. Let us start with a premise. In the first game, you had to fend off the G3 cartel invasion of Earth and save humanity. High on Life 2 picks up directly after that. You are now a successful and well-known bounty hunter, taking down alien crime syndicates. Meanwhile, your sister Lizzie is kidnapped by a pharmaceutical conglomerate, and now you must rescue her while uncovering what is really happening behind the scenes. Going further into the plot would enter heavy spoiler territory, so I will leave that for you to discover. If you are wondering whether the previous cast and Talking Guns return, the answer is yes. The original voice actors are back as well, with the exception of Justin Roiland, as mentioned earlier. Despite that absence, the game still maintains its chaotic energy, wacky tone, and relentless humor. Now, while the story is not aiming for the emotional weight of something like The Last of Us, it is still engaging, entertaining, and surprisingly memorable. That is largely because of the cast. If you played the first game, you already understand this. If you did not, here's who you are dealing with. The Gatlants are the talking alien weapons you carry. Gus returns as your shotgun and is voiced by JB Smoove.
If we run into that biking chick again, let's just look the other way and pretend we didn't see her. She's gonna be pissed we killed her boyfriend.
Sweezy also returns, voiced by Betsy Sodaro.
Alright, Chief, here's the deal. You're worried about your perfect record, right? We can use the extra help.
Gene, the three-eyed alien former bounty hunter who was evicted from his apartment, is back once again to assist you. He is voiced by David Herman.
Things went a little sideways there, huh? I guess that's gonna keep happening with such a big bounty on your head. Sorry, kid, but we're doing the right thing.
Lizzie returns as well and now becomes central to the story as the one who must be rescued. She's voiced by Laura Silverman.
You did fine out there, but you seemed a little thrown off by the bounty hunters coming after you. You're not one of them anymore. You're a wanted criminal now. You're gonna get attacked by bounty hunters sometimes.
And of course, Mr. Knifey makes his comeback, bringing his foul mouth and obsession with stabbing anything in sight. He is voiced by Michael Cusack.
Carve me out of here with your knife.
What? Really? You want us to carve you up?
Yes, the rest of my body is already dead. Only my head matters now. Oh, I'll explain more as you go.
Really? You're absolutely sure?
I'm sure.
All right, and no takebacks now. Let's do this!
The returning cast absolutely commits to their roles and it shows. You will meet plenty of new Gatlants and characters throughout the adventure, but I'm not going to list them all because this is a review, not a complete breakdown of every moment in the game. What I will say is that the new additions are strong. They are funny, they are memorable, and the voice acting across the board remains one of the game's biggest strengths. A strong cast is essential for a universe like this to feel alive, and High on Life 2 understands that. If you love the vibe of the first game, you are going to feel right at home. If you are new and looking for something outrageous and unapologetically ridiculous, the writing delivers. The humor targets everything: politics, current trends, sexual orientation, and more. It does not pull punches. The game does not hold anything back. But if you are easily offended and you are a beta cock pussy, then it's most likely not for you.
That's where you'll start your search for one
I'm
of...
sorry if this is weird, but I was wondering, could I flash you? Just for a second? I've always wanted to, but I feel so guilty doing it without permission.
Oh, sure thing. Go ahead. Let your freak flag fly.
Wow, really? Thank you so much. Okay, here I go. Actually, are you sure? I would hate if you changed your mind after saying yes.
Yeah, I said I was sure. Let's do this.
Great. Perfect. All right. Flashing you in 3, 2... Actually, how about this? Could you say this exact phrase for me? I, insert name, enthusiastically consent to being flashed right now. I'm super down to be flashed, and whoever's flashing me should release their inhibition and just freaking go for it. I want them to flash me. I'd actually be bummed if they didn't flash me at this point. How's that sound? I think that covers my bases. Yes, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. Well, see you later.
Personally, I find the writing across both titles refreshing compared to the overly safe and sanitized dialogue that dominates much of modern gaming, thanks to certain type of developers and modern politics that I cannot fucking stand.
It's not just about power. Solus has messed up Algernon's plans before. Nothing's bigger than dragons. But they're clever enough to take flight once they smell danger. Algernon smelled danger.
Whatever the reason, we made it through. And this time, no dragon escaped.
Thanks to Tosh.
That's why we recruited her.
Actually, Tosh uses them for themselves now.
They asked us to let folks know, so now you do.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you for telling me. That's why we recruited them.
So what's our next move, Rook?
This is a game where you can sit back and simply enjoy the sanity. The dialogue is absurd, fast, and often unpredictable. With the premise and characters covered, let us move into the gameplay. Like the first entry, High on Life 2 focuses on mobility, fast gunplay, gore, platforming, and Metroidvania style puzzle solving using alternate weapon fire. The major addition this time is the skateboard mechanic. Interestingly, the skateboard was originally planned for the first game but did not make it, was cut, and instead is being saved for the sequel. The skateboard significantly increases your movement speed. You can grind rails, chain movement together, and if you are skilled enough, pull off some stylish combat sequences. It adds adrenaline and momentum to encounters. That said, I will be honest, at first it felt kind of clunky. Coordinating high speed, traversal with aiming and shooting takes adjustment. After about an hour, it clicks. Once it does, it becomes second nature. Just understand there is a learning curve. You can choose to fight on foot, but doing so puts you at a clear disadvantage. The lack of mobility makes it easier for the enemies to land shots, and dodging becomes far more difficult. Alternate weapon fire returns and remains essential for progression. Whether you are using Gust to pull in lock blobs or charging receivers with sheath spikes, puzzle solving continues to be integrated into combat and exploration. If you enjoyed that design philosophy before, you will appreciate its expansion here. There are new Gatlins as well, but I will let you discover those naturally. The planets are larger this time. There are more collectibles, more alien pesos together, and more upgrades to purchase and find. You can spend your currency on abilities, weapons, skateboards, and cosmetics. Side missions are more plentiful too. Overall, High on Life 2 feels like a bigger and more content-rich experience. That said, if you are expecting groundbreaking gunplay, you will not find it here. Combat remains relatively straightforward. It is largely point and shoot with alternate fire, adding variation. You can juggle enemies or slow them down with Sweezy's time bubble, but over time encounters can feel repetitive. The game is dialogue heavy, there is constant banter, you can interact with NPCs, choose different dialogue responses, and uncover additional lore. One moment you are listening to ridiculous conversations, the next you are thrown into combat, followed immediately by a boss fight or a dramatic shift in tone.
Hold it! This harbor is Buttons Glutton's turf while our leader Craig's in town. Nobody comes through without our permission.
Hey, wait a minute. Where do I know you from?
Yeah, now that you mention it, they do look familiar. Maybe you got a different outfit on or something, but I swear.
Oh, god damn it. They're bounty hunters. Just play it cool.
Weren't you on the news or something?
I assure you, you've mistaken us for somebody else. Just let us be on our merry way.
Or what? Are you threatening us?
Oh man, I know who you are. You're that traitor bounty hunter who turned on their own kind just to protect some terrorist chick. You got a huge bounty on your head.
Oh shit! Bad luck, pals. You're fucking dead now. Glutton's attack!
No avoiding it, I guess. Take him out.
If you need my spike,
Bounty hunters arrest!
The pacing fluctuates often, calm moments quickly escalate into chaos, and this rhythm repeats throughout the game. Once you complete major bounty targets, you are free to explore. You can collect items, take on side missions, or visit shops for upgrades and cosmetics. The structure allows you to break away from the main storyline when you want to, which is appreciated. Boss fights remain a highlight. Each one features unique mechanics combined with signature comedic dialogue. I played on normal difficulty and died multiple times. Some of that was due to missed parries, some of it because I was paying more attention to the dialogue than the fight itself. Once you understand the patterns, they become manageable. I strongly recommend playing on normal difficulty. It feels like the intended experience and gives you a proper understanding of the combat systems. If you are primarily interested in the story and humor, story mode is available and significantly lowers the challenge. Overall, the game clearly prioritizes its writing, cast of characters, and overall vibe rather than delivering ultra polished gameplay or some kind of next level gunplay and platforming systems. That focus is very apparent once you spend enough time with it. The platforming itself consists largely of jumping from platform to platform, skateboarding across rails, and using your hook slinger to latch onto ledges or designated hook points in order to swing across environments. These mechanics are often used to avoid enemy gunfire, dodge incoming bullets, reposition during combat, and maintain momentum while navigating levels. For those who are not aware, the original High on Life was developed using Unreal Engine 4. The sequel is running on a more upgraded and heavily modified version of Unreal Engine 4, which I personally found rather strange, considering this game is releasing in 2026. At this point, many titles are already utilizing Unreal Engine 5, which offers far greater capabilities in lighting systems, shaders, and overall rendering technology. Do not get me wrong, the game still looks good. In fact, it looks better than the previous entry. However, it suffers from frequent stuttering. Unreal Engine has long been associated with stuttering issues, and unfortunately that problem is present here as well. Whether the cause is tied directly to the engine itself or to optimization decisions made during development, I cannot say with certainty. What I can say is that Unreal Engine 4 is old enough at this point that no developer should be shipping a title in 2026 with noticeable stutter problems. Part of me wants to be frustrated with the developers because I genuinely do not understand the decision to stick with Unreal Engine 4 instead of transitioning to Unreal Engine 5. Either that or perhaps the game was pushed out slightly earlier than it should have been. For a game built around mobility and fast-paced movement, stuttering directly impacts the feel of combat and overall pacing. It makes engagements feel less smooth and at times genuinely irritating. Keep in mind, I am playing on a very powerful PC equipped with an NVIDIA RTX 49 GPU, a Ryzen 9 7950X 16-core CPU, and 64GB of DDR5 RAM. I should not be experiencing stuttering on hardware like this, yet I am. Everything was also set on very high, which is the maximum graphical setting you can set it to, as you can see here. The footage you are watching is captured at native 4K resolution without DLSS enabled. The stutters you see are not YouTube compression issues, and they are not the result of a poor video render. That is exactly how the game is running on my system. Speaking of DLSS, both DLSS and AMD FSR 4.0 and 3.0 are supported in the graphics options. You may also use multi-frame generation as well if your GPU supports it. I've tried and gotten a much smoother experience, but that's because my GPU can support and not everyone can or has this privilege, so be wary. There is a performance patch scheduled to release on launch day, which is tomorrow, February 13th. However, whether that patch will fully address the stuttering is something I cannot guarantee. It was not specifically specified which performance issues are being fixed with the patch. This video review is based entirely on the review build that was provided to me by the developers. I can only evaluate the experience I was given. Just because a performance patch is promised for a release day on February 13th does not mean I'm going to ignore or hide the problems I encountered during my time with the review build of the game. Doing so would be disingenuous and unfair to you as a potential customer. This is Gaming Instincts, and we take pride in the authenticity of our reviews. The last thing I want to cover before getting into the final review score for High on Life 2 is the audio. As I mentioned earlier, the voice acting is fantastic and genuinely enjoyable to listen to. Your Gatlins are not the only characters carrying the dialogue either. There are plenty of additional alien personalities throughout the game, and I will leave those as a surprise. What I will say is that pretty much every single one of them is memorable and funny in their own way. The performances feel committed, energetic, and perfectly aligned with the tone of the universe. The soundtrack is also strong. For a franchise called High on Life, the musical direction feels completely appropriate. While I personally have never been drunk or high in my personal life, pun intended, the soundtrack absolutely sounds like something a person in a trance state would experience. It carries this strange, almost hallucinatory atmosphere where you feel detached from reality, like you are floating somewhere between worlds with a distinctly alien undertone. The music leans heavily into experimental electronic, lo-fi, and psychedelic elements, which reinforces that surreal energy. It is not necessarily my personal preferred genre when it comes to everyday listening, but that is relevant here. Objectively speaking, it fits the game's overall vibe extremely well. The developers clearly understood the identity of their world and made a deliberate choice that supports it. In conclusion, I genuinely enjoyed High on Life 2 despite its performance issues in areas where the overall polish could have been stronger. In fact, I enjoyed it enough that I sincerely hope it sells well and earns another sequel. If that happens, I would love to see better optimization, larger worlds, and even more outrageous ideas pushed even further. This is one of the most unique and refreshing new IPs in recent years. It offers something that many modern games simply do not: a distinct vibe, hilarious dialogue, and a universe that feels unapologetically fun and different. That kind of identity is rare right now. Another positive worth mentioning is the price point. At $59.99, it undercuts the now standard $69.99 price tag that most AAA games are charging. I have played a lot of games in my life, and it is not often that you get to step into a bloody, adult humor-driven universe that fully commits to its tone. Many titles today feel similar in their lore, characters, and structure. They play it safe, they aim to offend no one. And at this point, that approach is becoming very predictable. Sometimes you just want something chaotic and goofy that does not take itself too seriously. High on Life 2 delivers that experience. High on Life 2 will be receiving a final verdict of 8 out of 10. Now, that score reflects both sides of the experience. On one hand, the writing, cast, humor, and overall vibe are genuinely excellent and carry the game. On the other hand, the technical performance and lack of deeper mechanical innovation do hold it back from reaching a higher score. The decision to continue using an older engine is questionable, and the stuttering issues should not be present in a 2026 release on high-end hardware, whether there's a patch or not on day one. I think that's just unacceptable. If you played the original and want more of that same madness, I can confidently recommend it. If you are new to the franchise, I strongly suggest playing the first game before jumping into the sequel. You will appreciate the returning characters far more, and the emotional investment will land better. However, if you are looking for cutting-edge gunplay systems or a flawlessly polished technical showcase, this is not that game. The combat design is straightforward and somewhat old school in approach. There is no multiplayer component either. This is a standalone single-player FPS built around platforming, exploration, and bold creative writing with characters you will not forget anytime soon. It's a classical, old-school, first-person shooter game with awesome humor.